Does the Bible predict the fate of Iran? The destruction of Iran, Jeremiah 49. Behold, I will break the bow of Elam, the chief of their might. Jeremiah 49, verse 35. There is another prophecy concerning Iran that possibly precedes the Gog and Magog scenario outlined in Ezekiel. In Jeremiah 49, 34 through 39, we are told that Elam will come under the judgment of God for conspiring to launch an attack against Israel in the latter days. Modern-day Iran is comprised of ancient Elam, about 1/10, and Persia. The prophecy concerning Iran has not yet been fulfilled, but seems to align with Iran's current nuclear aspirations. Let's see the prophecy in Jeremiah 49, 35 to 39. Verse 35, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Behold, I will break the bow of Elam, the chief of their might. Jeremiah predicts that Elam will be struck at the foremost place of its strength. Today, this could infer an attack upon Iran's growing nuclear program. One of Iran's most strategic and vulnerable nuclear targets is the Bushehr nuclear reactor, located in the heart of ancient Elam. Jeremiah also predicts that Iran will suffer the fate of a broken bow. When your bow is broken, you cannot load the arrows from out of your quiver, or in a modern sense, the missiles out of your silo. This might imply that the IRGC, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, will be unable to launch scores of missiles, arrows in modern warfare are missiles, at its enemies. Verse 36, And upon Elam will I bring the four winds from the four quarters of heaven, and will scatter them towards all those winds, and there will be no nation whither the outcasts of Elam shall not come. Jeremiah then warns that after the attack, the affected populations are forced to scatter from the area. This could be the result of Iranians attempting to flee from an isolated nuclear disaster. Should the Bushehr nuclear reactor be struck, this becomes a very real possibility because the facility is loaded with Russian-supplied fuel rods. John Bolton, former U.S. ambassador to the UN, said in 2010, Israel's got a problem because once the fuel rods are inserted into the reactor, an attack would almost certainly release the radiation into the atmosphere. Several other studies conducted of the safety of the Bushehr nuclear site have concluded that an accident at the facility could result in such a disaster. The radioactive mess would cause a mass exodus of people in the surrounding area, a worldwide dispersion of the Iranian people, just as prophesied. Verse 37, For I will cause Elam to be dismayed before their enemies, and before them that seek their life, and I will bring evil upon them, even my fierce anger, saith the Lord, and I will send the sword after them till I have consumed them. From the Scripture, we can derive that the Lord is angry with Iran, which results in some disaster in Iran. Verse 38, And I will set my throne in Elam, and I will destroy from thence the king and the princes, saith the Lord. Verse 39, But it shall come to pass in the latter days that I will bring again the captivity of Elam, saith the Lord. Jeremiah's prophecy also points out that the Lord will set his throne in Elam. Iranians who accept Christ in advance of his second coming will be returned from global exile into the restored fortunes of their historic homeland in Elam. Interestingly, for the last few years, Iran has been experiencing one of the largest revivals on earth. From approximately 500 believers in 1979, the year of the Iranian Revolution, to several million today, Iran is the fastest-growing evangelical population in the world. Christianity is burgeoning so rapidly that the rogue Islamic regime has instituted harsh policies to curb its growth. The most likely fulfillment of this prophecy will occur when the nuclear reactor is destroyed, either by the Israelis or by an earthquake, releasing radiation that will force the evacuation of the whole area. Take note that the region where Bushehr is located in Elam is active earthquake country and sits on a tectonic plate. The Bushehr nuclear power plant is physically separated from Greater Iran, Persia, by the Zagros mountain range. The rapid elevation change due to the Zagros mountain range would most likely protect most of Iran from the meltdown, allowing them to attack as one of the nations of Magog on another day. Interestingly, Ezekiel was familiar with Elam, according to Ezekiel 32, 24, and 25, but he did not include Elam in the lineup of invaders in Ezekiel 38, perhaps because it is destroyed by then. Written more than 2,600 years ago, Jeremiah may have predicted the fate of Iran's nuclear program and today's spiritual showdown in Iran. What are the odds of that?